Morning, all. I'm aware I'm talking to probably a lot of people who have lost sleep because we went ahead. So it's Sunday morning. Normally, I wouldn't have the heater. I've got a heater in the corner of my room because it stays kind of cold down here, even with the furnace upstairs and all that. Normally, I turn the heater off before I do a video. I went to turn it off, and Shadow told me not to, and so I gave him a pet, and he is so warm. And I was like, you know what? He really likes the heater, so I left it on. So if you hear her humming, it's the heater. So Hedman got hurt last night in the Tampa Bay Boston game. It kind of gets lost in all of the emotion and the 94 penalty minutes that occurred. He'll be reevaluated Monday. They're not telling us anything else. Just he's going to be reevaluated Monday. That doesn't sound good. So for Tampa, they're going into Detroit. They'll be minus Victor Hedman. Keep in mind they're already without Stamkos. Right? So we'll see how things go today. Today also, I want to say it's International Women's Day. There will be an all-women's broadcast in Canada and in the U.S., which I anticipate a lot of males getting upset about. I've never really understood the upset. But then again, I used to have arguments with wrestling fans. I would tell men that also watch wrestling. I preferred the women's wrestling to the men's wrestling, and they would insinuate that somehow that made me less manly, and I'm like, wait. So it's seeing the guys wrestle in their underwear is more manly than. You sure about that? Because if you haven't noticed, they're all kind of in their underwear. It's kind of unsettling too. And the guy has like pants, then he changes to trunks, which are underwear. Why do you do that? I need to have my legs out. Like what? How did? Who decide? Did he decide? Did the company decide that he needed to have his legs? Why? Well, if it's not real, why are they wrestling in their underwear? Why don't they just wear pants? Most of the women wear pants, and I don't understand. I don't get it. So, and I'm equally baffled by the continual negativity towards women in the industry and around the industry, and I mean hockey, and broadcasting as well. There are some cringy women broadcasters. I agree with that, but there are also some really good ones. So I do think that there's some room for growth there, and I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's kind of cool. The group they've got for Sportsnet, I think, is a little bit stronger than the group they have for the NBC broadcast that'll be on today. But you know what? It's all open to opinion. So hey, we'll see how that goes in International Women's Days. This is one of those days where for some they may just say, I'm out of hockey today. I'm not doing the hockey thing today. Just okay. All right, so now let's get into some stats. All right, let's talk a little bit about statistics. People are like, isn't that on Wednesdays? Yeah, usually every second Wednesday, but this is a little different. It's been more than 211 minutes of game time since the Dallas Stars last scored a 5-on-5 goal. It's almost 4 games. It's like a little past 3.5 games. It's been a long time since they had a goal 5-on-5. So when I'm talking about Dallas having problems and they're taking a bit of a nosedive on the power rankings last night, there's a reason for that. Not being able to score 5-on-5 is a bit of a problem. And it's just a bad time for this. Teams are gearing up for the playoffs, and Dallas is like, well, we're going to save our energy. Kivlenix has been sent down to the American League by Columbus. This means that Elvis Merzlikins is back. Is supposed to be playing tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. That should be a very interesting matchup. As the Canucks, of course, last time out against Columbus. Right? So we'll see how things go in that game tonight, and with Elvis being back. And it's nice to see players coming back for Columbus. The tricky part has been players coming back and then getting hurt again. So while they've lost, I think it's 407 man games lost going into last night's game. So that's gone up. They're leading the league in man games lost to injury. Hopefully Elvis is no longer one of those ones lost, and they keep him and Korpisalo both healthy till the end of the season. Jared McCann. I always know when he scores because I get people messaging me or making comments like, look, see the Canucks, they lost him, and look how good he is. He's so awesome. He's great. And I agree. McCann's good. But if people look back to the start, back to when this channel was in its infancy, when the Canucks made a trade of Jared McCann, I was very vocal about how unhappy I was that the Canucks had given up on him. That being said, there was stuff that came out after that. Yeah, I understand. Now, McCann's gone 20 games without a goal. And it's being reported on because it's 20 games without a goal. But I will say this in McCann's defense. I think it's that his role has changed with the team. I think Zucker coming back has also pushed him a little bit further down. And it's not unusual to see guys go through a bit of a drought. So 20 games without a goal is alarming. But his career high in points is 35. He's currently sitting with 34. So he's still, at the end of the year, he's still going to end up with probably around 40 points. As probably where he's going to end up slotting in from here going forward. But, it is notable. But Pittsburgh's got other issues, and I don't think McCann's necessarily been a problem for them. So, hot and cold scorers around the NHL. Zibanejad, 27 games played, 23 goals, 18 assists, 41 points. So I was trying to track that stat down, and then I found some other interesting ones, and I said, all right. So these came from Daubers Hockey, frozenpool.daubersports.com. So they do hockey pool stuff. I get asked about doing hockey pool stuff. This is about as close as I get. I don't like advising people on their hockey pools because when they lose, I feel bad. So, Zibanejad, 41 points in the last 27 games he's played, 23 goals in 27 games. We'll see whether or not he can keep that up. If he keeps that up, he'll hit 50 goals this year. JT Miller in Vancouver, his last 11 games, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. He's been fantastic for Vancouver. The team on the ice itself has had its issues. JT Miller is not one of them. Edmonton's Draisaitl, not too bad in his last 30 games played, 21 goals, 29 assists, 50 points. So yes, he was held off the score sheet last night, but in general, he's playing pretty darn well and cruising towards the Art Ross Trophy. They did say last night he's on pace for 133 points, and I thought, I don't like the on pace. I don't like doing on pace because it gets used too often to criticize or to build up players who haven't played a full season, and we don't know what they would have done if they'd played those games. So I don't like to project out how many points Draisaitl might score. When we look at this, 50 points in 30 games, well, if he kept scoring at that rate, right? So we don't know rate of scoring from here and how things are going to be tougher for Edmonton over their last 14 games and how many goals he may end up scoring, because 9 of those 14 games are against playoff teams. Now, on the colder side, Nick Suzuki has no points in their last 8 games played. Now, this is a couple of things. Montreal can't score. So when you're primarily a passer, as Suzuki is, that's a problem. And also, as a rookie, you're going to hit that wall. Most rookies will hit that wall. Makar tends to injure himself against it. He needs to stop doing that if he wants to win the Calder. He's still got a good chance, but we'll see how things end up because of how many games he's losing here. But Suzuki, I think it's the rookie wall on top of the team that he's playing for as well. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think it's take him out of the lineup, send him to the American League situation. Similarly, Eichel, no points in their last 7 games. He's taken some criticism. I have to say this, the only reason they were in any playoff conversation this year is Jack Eichel. He is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, he's got no points in their last 7. If you look at his defensive numbers, they've been bad too. He's playing a lot of minutes. I think part of it is probably being tired. He may be nursing an injury as well, and he does seem like the type that will fight through it. Remember, one of the things about Eichel coming into this year is his endurance level and whether or not he can play a full season. And this year, he may feel the pressure to play that full season, even if he's got some bumps and bruises that he might be better off resting. Barkov, on the Florida side of things, kind of surprising he's on the cold side. But no points in 5 games, you can't really argue against that. So Florida and their issues that they've had over the last little while, is Barkov part of the problem? Likely not. So again, with the guys who are without points in their last however many games, 5, 7, or 8, a lot of the time you have to look at the team they're on. You have to look at that. This is part of the reason, too, why I don't get into the fantasy stats so much, because it is easy for a player who's not scoring, or even a player who is scoring, to be heavily influenced by line mates, schedule, and all of that other wonderful stuff. So a guy who's hot today, like Zibanejad, maybe he goes the next 3 games without a point. Eichel gets a hat trick in their next game, and everybody forgets about the cold streak he was on. So that's kind of how fantasy hockey works. UC Saros on the goaltending side in his last 8 starts, 7 of them quality starts. He's been 5-2 with a .949 save percentage in his last 8 games. So he didn't get a decision in that 8th game, but a .949 save percentage, that's not bad. That's pretty good, and it's part of the reason why Nashville has been doing very well lately. Now, of course, a lot of those saves are against Dallas, who haven't scored an even strength goal in 211 minutes, but that's kind of how stats work as well. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Not a whole lot of injury news yet, but there wasn't a whole lot of games last night either, so that may very well be part of it. Or maybe just everybody's already injured. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Just tapping upon on this video. I'll get there. I don't even know who I'm looking at. There's nobody there. I would like to thank you guys for helping this channel pass 135,000 while I was sleeping for a very brief period last night. And hey, to each and every one of you, welcome. And I will likely talk to you guys again very soon.